Hello everybody, Will Terry here, and glad to be able to finally make this video. So before we get started, just wanted to tell you that a few weeks ago I had made a video comparing my Cintiq monitor, my Wacom Cintiq monitor, to using a Wacom Intuos or Bamboo tablet. And if you're in that realm where you don't know which way to go, check out that video. You can find it on my channel. That kind of gave rise to doing this comparison between my Cintiq 21UX and the Yiynova MSP 19U. And the reason that I want to make the comparison is because I have a lot of students at the college where I teach at UVU, and also at my website at svslearn.com, which we have a lot of online students there, on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else, asking me questions about is there a cheaper alternative because the Cintiq monitors are so expensive. So that's basically why I'm making this comparison video. This isn't there are really complete and more in-depth reviews on this monitor. You can see some on Amazon, you can see some on YouTube. This is going to be more of a comparison of can you go, what are the trade-offs if you go one way or the other. So let's just get started. You might notice that I got a new microphone to make the sound a little bit better, so I'm kind of proud of that. And it's a Snowball, and it's pretty cheap. Got it on Amazon, but it's a really good quality. And yeah, so let's dive into the review, and let's look at first we'll look at the Cintiq monitor. Okay, so let's look at here's my Cintiq monitor. This is the 21UX. This is the pen tool that goes with it. Here's the Yiynova pen tool right here. Yeah, this is the Cintiq. So they're about the same size. Both have a rocker. I don't know if you can see that, but we're going to get to that and see how that works a little bit later. But you can see how big my hand is compared to this monitor right here. I'll give you an idea of how big. This is my iPad Air right here. Okay, so you can get an idea of the size. And then here's the Yiynova. Let me lift this up. Now the problem is this is actually going to sit it's about 4 inches above the Cintiq, just to get it in the same shot here. So it's actually about 2 or 3, probably 2 to 2.5 inches smaller than the 21UX. But this is the 19-inch Yiynova, and brand new off of Amazon. And so I'm going to hook it up and see how it compares in the way that it works. But first, let's get a Photoshop document out here, and let's draw on this one and see how responsive it is, to see if we can get a comparison. So I'm going to just have a pen, just a brush with pressure sensitivity, and just kind of see. This is me pushing really super light right here, and gradually increasing the pressure. Let's go fast, like if we're kind of shading in an area. I can't notice any lag. Of course, I've got a let's talk about my hardware really quick. I've got a El Cheapo HP PC that I'm running this on from Walmart, of all places, because I'm a cheapskate. And I've got a quad-core processor. My computer's about 3 years old. It's got 16 gigs of RAM. And what else does it have? A 300 gig hard drive. Pretty low-end computer on today's standards, for sure. But it handles Photoshop really well. And I'm still sticking with CS5. For some reason, it doesn't like CS6 very well, but I am going to move to the cloud and do a beginner Photoshop series for my website, svslearn.com. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get that Yiynova hooked up and see if it is a good alternative to the Cintiq. Okay, I got the device installed. You can see I'm rocking the Yiynova, the little glove that Panda City sent me. I bought this one from Panda City on Amazon. So they also gave me that. They also gave me a better pen. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the pen that it came with, and this pen is really freaking cheap. It just feels like a piece of crap. But the cool thing is you can upgrade it. The pen that they gave me feels a lot more like the pen that I have for my my Cintiq monitor from Wacom. It's heavier, it's more substantial, and anyway, so there's that. And then let's get some hair on the screen there. I have a dog in the studio, so I have hair everywhere. Let's see, what else did I notice? The software is crap compared to the Cintiq monitor software. So what I mean by that is there's no controls that I've seen. It's just plug and play. Now I might not have seen something. I'm also going to, a disclaimer I'm going to use is that I'm not a review site, and I'm just trying to offer a little bit of information for my students at svslearn.com, and anybody else that's watching, and my students at UVU. So this is definitely not a completely thorough interview, and if I miss stuff, I really apologize, and feel free to put stuff in the comments. But I had a hard time installing. One of the things that I did, and I did install it on my own. I didn't need to call anybody or to email Panda City or Yiynova or anybody. I have heard that Panda City is really good about getting back to you if you have trouble troubleshooting and everything. But one of the things that they said in their user guide, let's see, do I have that handy? I guess it's on the other desk. One of the things they said was you have to uninstall any other tablet software that you have, like for Wacom or something. So if you're using I don't know if it's the same for a tablet, just a regular drawing tablet like an Intuos or Bamboo, but if you have trouble installing this, you might want to uninstall those drivers, because when I tried to I tried to go without uninstalling them, and I just couldn't get the pen to work. It just absolutely wouldn't work. And then when I said, okay, well, I remembered reading that in there, I uninstalled that and it worked right away. So I had to restart my computer probably 3 times in the installation process. When I installed the Cintiq monitor, it was more of a plug and play, so it was a little bit less buggy or techy or geeky, but I was able to do this, and I am definitely, I don't know much about computers, so I was able to go in and find in my list all the programs and uninstall the Wacom stuff and get this thing running. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is, how does it track? Other people on YouTube, I've seen them give a review of this, and they've said that the pen doesn't hook up as there's more of a gap between the pen and where your cursor is on the screen, and I would say they're accurate about that. And that's one thing. I don't find that it's bugging me at all, but on the Cintiq monitor, it feels like where you touch, you're actually touching closer, and on here it feels like there's a little bit, maybe double the gap or something. I really don't think that's going to bother me at all, because again, I used to use the Intuos tablet, and where you're looking at the screen, and then you have your hand over on the tablet, and compared to that, this is nothing. So if anybody's making a big deal about that, I think not really a big deal. Okay, so does it track really fast? Yeah. Is there like crazy lag? I don't see any lag. Let's get some shape dynamics going. So this is using the pen pressure, right? And it seems to really be really responsive. I really like that part. Let's get some tablet pressure so that we can get a little bit more. I'll try to just gradually increase the pressure. Maybe take off shape dynamics and just really kind of
build up, gradual pressure sensitivity stuff going on there. I think it's nice. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm also not as picky as some people. And I think one of the questions that probably a lot of people are going to ask me is, would you use this instead of the Cintiq? And I probably wouldn't, since I already have a Cintiq. But boy, as far as this being similar or an alternative, so far so good. I'm thinking, yeah. And the materials are cheaper. Another thing that I've seen online reviewers talk about is that the surface is slick, and I hate drawing on slick. I like drawing on slick surfaces, and the reason for that is you can draw more from your shoulder. And so let me just delete that layer and start over here. I mean, I feel like if I were trying to draw something, I want my hand to slide, and that's why I normally use a terry cloth, but now I've got this glove, and I guess I could get used to that. I actually have gotten used to that terry cloth, and so this is actually feeling a little more awkward, but I don't know, like it's I could definitely see myself using this. I'm going to try to do a little bit of painting too, just to see. Here's a little tuna fish can. Does it so I think this is what I suspect my review is going to be on this, is that this Yiynova is probably going to be more like your first car. And with your first car, your high school car, you love it, and you fall in love with it because it's your car, and it's the first thing you've had. But most people don't, if they look back at the car that they had, they're not going to be wishing that they had that car for the rest of their life. They want to move up and graduate. And I would say, just right offhand, what I've noticed first off is the Cintiq monitor gives you more. It's heavier, it's wider. You can't see my hands. Let's see, but it does stick out wider, so it's more substantial. So just from that standpoint alone, I would say it's a higher quality object. I can't really show you too well the stand, but I actually do, in an ironic way. I like the stand that comes with this better than the stand that came with my 21UX, simply because it just folds right off the back and props this thing up, and you can set it on a desk. I have mine kind of sitting in the drawer of the map drawer on my drawing table, so it's just kind of right out in my lap, and it's a really comfortable place to have it. So there's that, and then what else? Why would I should ask myself questions like, why not use this instead of the Cintiq monitor? Let's do a painting and just see. Let's see what would happen if I'm just going to get this. This is a drawing I did in a sketchbook long time ago, of Kronos from God of War, and I'm just going to paint on this and just add some color, and I'll probably speed this part up, so maybe I'll not talk during this, but then we'll just kind of see where it can go. Let's see, where do I want to start here? I'll just start, and then maybe I'll just kind of fast forward through it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color to this, and throw a little bit of a multiply layer on there. Turn it down a little bit, just so I have some good value over the whole thing. And then, oops, I like the rocker on this pen as well, that came with it. And I don't have the name of that pen, but if you go to Panda City's website, they sell that. But right now, if you buy it before Christmas, this is actually November 2014. They're giving this away, this pen. I'm not getting any money from Yiynova, so I'm not pitching their product at all. But I'm just saying that, you know, that's something to think about if you're thinking about getting one now. Let's see. I'm gonna just darken that a little bit. One big drawback, and I think other people have talked about this, and I just realized this and remembered it again, and you can't see it in this video, but from the angle, like let's see, I'm gonna look at them. You know, my head is back here, right? And so the angle that I'm looking at this is kind of down in this direction, and up here is darker, and it fades to lighter down here. I have to stretch and lean up and look down to actually see that this is actually the same value all the way through, and that is, I could see that being a real problem just looking at it. The color overall really kind of, I can't really notice much of a difference with this one and the Cintiq overall. So again, you know, I have a suspicion that my review of this would basically be, and I just painted a little bit before I started this video here. I'm going to turn on my texture. Would basically be that, let's turn off shape dynamics, that it's going to be more like that first car, you know, where you just kind of fall in love with it, but then, you know, at some point you're ready to move up. I'm just going to build up. And it really just does feel, I mean, there's a lot of sensitivity on the pressure that I'm getting. It reminds me a lot of the Cintiq monitor. And this is what I was hoping for, actually, is that I would like it enough to see it as a potential alternative. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint, and then I'll speed this up and kind of show you where I was.
Okay, so I already kind of made some comparisons, and just kind of wrapping up here. This really is, I'm going to stick by this. This Yiynova really is your first good car. You know, but it's a compact. It's definitely not the thing that you're going to aspire to have. It's in some ways it's apples and oranges, but in some ways it isn't. So let's talk about some of those things. So first off, the workmanship and the craftsmanship. Again, you're going to notice that the Yiynova just is a cheaper. It's more cheaply made. That doesn't mean it's going to fall apart. You just feel it when you're lifting it and holding on to it and stuff like that. The stand. So let's just compare. And by the way, you cannot get the Cintiq monitor that I have anymore brand new. They don't sell it. They sell the 22 HD and 24 HD. I don't know if they sell a UX anymore in those, but those are the sizes that you get. And you can also get the Companion series, which is the smaller handheld device, which is a lot of people are really loving that one right now. But in just comparing it and looking at that, just looking at the way that the arm is for the new Cintiqs, it's an amazing device. You know, you can grab your monitor and you can move it down into your lap. You can pick it back up and move it at a different angle. So let's say you want to adjust your body position, you can move it to where it's more comfortable for you and kind of lock it into place. There's nothing like that on the Yiynova. On the Yiynova, on the back, let's just show you right here. You have this little guy right here. And so you pull this out and you can kind of lock this. Let's see if you can see this. So you can get different angles. If this was on your table, you can kind of imagine, right? And let's just lift it up. Use my shoulder here. And you can lock it in and get any different angle that you want to put this at. So that's, I think, in a lot of ways, this is a better solution than what came with my 21UX. I hate that. And I'm not using that stand. And I talked about that in the other video, and I showed my setup in the other video. I have it in a map drawer coming out of my desk. But this, I think, yeah, it's cheap. You know, and I think if you leaned on it or pushed on it too hard, you could break it probably, because this is a plastic piece right here. So you'd have to be careful with it. I don't think you'd have to be too careful, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. But you can get any angle that you want, and that's one thing that I really like about it. Okay, so that's something that's quite a bit different. So the way that it's held onto your desk. Now, probably the biggest reason I'm actually gonna give this one away or sell it. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna do with it right now. But the reason that I'm not gonna sell my Cintiq and keep the Yiynova, probably the biggest reason again is the angle that I described. And so I was working on it at about an angle, like maybe a 20 to 25 degree angle, something like that. And when I would look up here towards the top, it would progressively fade to dark, okay, the further away it was towards the top of the monitor. Now that's because it wasn't more at this angle to my eye. If I was looking at it straight on, it didn't do that. So in all fairness to Yiynova, I didn't set it on a desk and get the right, dial in the right angle. I was only using it down here. But I happen to like this angle, so that would be a problem for me. I don't want to draw on it when it's up here, but I think you would almost have to, because I think that especially if you're doing color work, it's going to affect the way your colors look, because it's going to progressively get darker as it goes up. But it will not get darker if you're looking at it straight on. So just like if you buy your high school car, your college car, the door handle stops working, stuff, but you don't get rid of the car because you need the car and it works and everything like that, and you're willing to deal with a few things that don't work as well. Maybe the acceleration isn't as good, and you aspire to have that race car or something nicer later on. But that's probably, I would say, for me, the biggest reason why I would not switch to Yiynova. Now, is that a deal breaker? Absolutely not. It's just an inconvenience, I would say. I'd put it in that category. The next thing would be the glass. So the glass on the Yiynova is more slick. It's more glass-like. On the Cintiq monitor, it's I wouldn't call it frosted, because that would make you think that it's like not transparent. It has a little bit of a texture, a very, very fine texture. Some people have made big deals about that in reviews. I don't think it's a big deal. It wasn't for me. Some people will say, well, the Cintiq is more like drawing on paper than that. I don't think so. The Cintiq is really slippery still. So I would say the Cintiq is just a little bit less slippery than the Yiynova. The next thing would be the pen, and I talked about that already. The pen that they give you that comes with the Yiynova is super cheap. The cool thing about Panda City is they're giving away this really nice pen that goes with it, much nicer. And this is November 2014. If you get it before Christmas, they're sending those for free. So that's just something to think about. But if I were buying a Yiynova, I would probably just shell out for that. Even if it didn't come with it, I would get the pen that comes with it. And I don't know what kind this is. It doesn't really say. It just kind of came with this, but it looks like this. I don't know if that's going to help you at all. Has that on the front, and it comes in a case, and it's got these little, like right here, this is like a little nib remover, and this one came with a couple extra nibs right there that are in there. Okay, so there's, let's see, the stand, there's the surface, there's the way that it fades. But as far as like the way that it worked, I felt like it really felt like working on a Cintiq as far as the action. And again, I would easily recommend this tablet monitor to someone who is price conscious. Another strategy that you might think of is, a lot of people are wondering, you know, I mean, even spending, like, even if money's not a problem, you know, you still might not want to spend $2,000 to find out that you don't like something. I would think that buying one of these monitors might be a good kind of stepping stone into working electronically on a tablet monitor, where your game plan might be to have it for 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and then to sell it. You know, keep it nice and then just sell it, and then move up to the Cintiq. But I could easily recommend this to a student. The software definitely diminished compared to the Cintiq. The software was nowhere near as good. It doesn't give you the adjustments. Now, this isn't a thorough review, so I didn't do a lot of research. I might have missed a part of the software, but I never pulled up any adjustment parts. I pulled up a calibration piece of software that allowed me to calibrate it for where the pen sits, you know. Other than that, it just didn't seem like it had the same kind of pressure sensitivity controls and stuff. But it seemed like it was right. It just felt right. So I didn't feel like I needed that. It's always nice to have those controls if you're having a problem and you can go in and adjust things. Again, everything is going to be stripped down, just like from a luxury car down to a compact. All the bells and whistles are gone out of it, and it's just set up to function and do what it's supposed to do, which is allow you to draw on there. The color seemed good to me. The color seemed pretty similar to Cintiq. I've heard of some people say that they didn't like the color on the Yiynova compared to Cintiq, but I didn't notice that as a problem. Anyway, that is my review. I fully recommend it, and if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Facebook. Just use my name. You can friend me on Facebook with Will Terry. I live in Utah. On Twitter, WillTerry333. If you put comments in the videos, there's a good chance I won't be able to respond to them because I just have too many videos out there right now. And if you're interested in, I'll just do a quick plug for our children's book class that starts in January 2014. It's a professional level children's book class. You can take it live, or you can take the video recorded only version. And thanks for watching my video, and I will be back with more in the future. Thanks.